Welcome to the Awakened Writer podcast, a no BS podcast that talks truth, ancient wisdom, wellness, and topics that will expand your mind and elevate your heart. I'm your host, Naomi, and over the months I'll be discussing an array of subjects, topics, and ideologies that will break down barriers of certain truths, perceptions, and beliefs that are really raw and help to awaken your heart, body, mind, and soul. I'm a writer, a poet, and a creative, and in the past year I've become a devoted humanitarian and activist for Palestine, especially coming from a Jewish Zionist background. In this episode, I'm going to be giving you a little background of who I am and why I started this podcast. I believe that now more than ever, we need to come together, and my passion for humanity and everyone and everything on this planet is what this podcast is all about. It's a place where I can talk freely and uncensored and share with you what I've learnt. I'll be bringing on a range of guests who are connected to their own humanity and are doing some great things. Some are making big waves in the collective. I believe the world is waking up and we're starting to remember why we are really here. I don't claim to have all of the answers, but I'm always willing to look into something in more depth. Firstly, let's talk about censorship. Being shadow banned and censored since I first found my voice in 2020 and started speaking out about the establishment, then discovering that most social apps are owned by Zionists and billionaires who really don't care about humanity, I've had enough. Especially with the upcoming TikTok ban that would disconnect me from my American brothers and sisters. So I knew I needed another way to connect, share, and speak with you. This podcast will run parallel to my Substack writing account. As a writer, I'm such a passionate person. I love connecting the dots and sharing what I've learnt with others. I feel like there is so much we're not taught about, and one of my favourite things is to discover ancient stories or events and extract the truth and wisdom from them. So firstly, why did I call this podcast The Awakened Writer? TikTok. Well, really, it's been years in the making, but my handle on TikTok is The Awakened Writer AU. And one of the reasons why I called myself that is because of this worldwide awakening that we are moving into and have been for a while, as the age of truth and the age of Aquarius is literally burning down all the lies and all the deceptions. Between this and my awakening from Jewish Zionism and my passion for truth, it felt really fitting. I feel like there's so much we are not taught or told about, and one of my favorite things is to dive deep into ancient stories or past events and extract the truth and wisdom from them. I was also interviewed on Al Jazeera in July last year, where they showed one of my viral videos. People started to get to know me as Awakened Writer, though I do believe that awakening is an ongoing process. I was born in Melbourne and grew up on the Gold Coast. I've travelled to 30 countries, and in one of my lifetimes was a travel agent. I then helped start up Flight Centre's wholesale digital marketing department, where I would write about travel and help them with their travel website. After that, I took my writing career to another level, starting my own freelancing, which then turned into a thriving business for a few years, working with hundreds of clients in an agency type model, where I would help with all aspects of the business, from creating a name and branding to hiring web developers, designers, photographers, and other writers. I even directed one of my clients' productions and wrote their script. But after COVID, like many people, my world fell apart as I woke up to the truth of this reality, government, celebrities, and the medical system. Then I met my beautiful partner, Nathan. At the end of 2020, we left Brisbane, where I'd been living for 7 years, and moved to the country. My corporate life was now over, and so was my identity. When my grandmother passed away in 2021, I felt like a piece of me had left with her. And with that, the grief made me go even further inwards on a self-healing journey as more of my world started to fall away. In early 2023, I lost my dad, followed by my other grandmother. Gardening became my sanctuary and helped me heal, thus changing the whole direction of my entire life. Then October 2023, and I was awakened to another level after finding out the truth about Palestine and my grandfather's ancestry's involvement. I'll also be doing a longer episode on this. But since then, I've become an activist for Palestine and other countries experiencing oppression. I've had to get in touch with my own racism after growing up in Zionism and decolonize the way I live and the way I think. It hasn't been easy, and anything that hasn't been in alignment has had to fall away. In 2024, in July, I was interviewed by Al Jazeera, and one of my videos went viral, reaching 680,000 people before TikTok muted my voice. People started to discover me and follow me. It was always what I wanted, for my writing to be discovered, but I still felt helpless for the Palestinians. So this has brought me to now, and as I say goodbye to my old identity, the people pleaser, and walk strongly into my more authentic, lion-hearted self, this podcast has now come into creation. What will I be talking about in the coming months? One thing is growing up and awakening out of Zionism, how I got the courage to share my story, and what I've had to move through with family and friends since speaking out, how I've had to leave friends and family behind as I walk this path, and how I fell in love with the Palestinians and risked it all to speak up for them. I'm also going to be talking about ancestral healing, what I've had to go through with my own healing journey after finding out my grandfather's part in the colonization of Palestine, and what I've discovered so far during this path with my Ashkenazi and Sephardic heritage, what I was taught growing up in Jewish Zionism. I'll also be diving into uncovering the lies of the Western world, how movies, entertainment, and mainstream programming has desensitized us to the violence that we're seeing now, the tactics they use to brainwash us, and how I can no longer watch many movies. We're also going to be talking about social media censorship and the dystopia that we see while scrolling, the agendas to divide us and make us disconnected and distracted, my observation of our human race and how we need to unite by connecting more to our hearts and to our humanity. Being a writer, poet, and truth activist amongst censorship, and why I have a healthy distrust in authority and question everything I have ever been told. I'll be sharing how I've navigated this horrible time and come to believe that majority of authority is not here to help us, and how we can take them off pedestals. I'll also be sharing about the New Age hijacking, coming out of the New Age cage, spirituality, and learning the truth about New Age communities after my father died, giving you an insight on why they are silent now and the deception of spiritual gurus and the New Earth 5D narrative. My experience of these communities have been hard, especially when my father passed, and how I felt about their silence and gaslighting during this live genocide of the Palestinians. I'll also be talking about the process of unlearning and decolonization, how we become more connected to our inner knowing, our intuition, instinct, and having a more individualized mindset, learning how to burn it all away to become more of our authentic selves, and how we really move through this in-between era. I'll also be sharing about natural healing, gardening, herbs, and my work with flower essences. Natural healing and wellness is amazing, and working with herbs and flower essences has really changed my life, and I'd love to share some of my experiences. I'm going to be bringing on a range of guests to talk about syncretism, which is the study of all religions, beliefs, and thought processes, something I'm really interested in after growing up in the Jewish religion and becoming more spiritual. I also love talking about natural law and common law and the selling of our countries and where are our resources actually going. I would also love to have a veteran on here to talk about what it was like going to war for the establishment and how it felt waking up about it all. I believe we're in desperate need of love, humanity, and unity, and this is the whole point of the podcast. This is a place where I can share uncensored what I've learned, offer guidance for the coming times, and showcase others' gifts and knowledge that you may not know about. Thanks for coming on this journey with me. I look forward to sharing more with you as we embark on this new adventure together. For now, be kind, look after yourself and others, and I will see you soon.